It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSSports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up best smoked barbecue ribs and many local favorites on Warrior Drive. Locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family. And this morning we welcome in Smyrna head coach Matt Williams. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing good. The Bulldogs coming off a Week 7 loss 31-13 to Riverdale. A really hard-fought contest, and it's always a rivalry when you play Riverdale.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game we played, last number of years when we weren't in that region. And, it's always a good game, good crowd. And, I think we did a really good job for the first 24 minutes. And, unfortunately, it came out the second half and didn't do the things we needed to do to win a football game. But, credit to Riverdale. I think they did. They made adjustments and were able to make some plays in the second half. And we just didn't do a good enough job in the second half to win, and something we can learn from.
Yeah, and got up 10-0 on the over at Riverdale, and that's a great start. And had a lot of confidence going into that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were actually up on us. We had to sort of battle back, tied up 10-10, and score Weathers. I thought A.J. Jackson sort of got thrown in the starting role Monday. We practiced Sunday and had some circumstances where he needed to be the starter, and so he started preparing for that on Monday on a short week. And I thought with a short week, credit to A.J., I thought he did a wonderful job, step up for his teammates, and thought he made some really good throws the first half, and Score Weathers made a couple big plays in the passing game, and Yanni Browse had a couple good catches, and thought they did a good job. And offensively, the first half, I thought we battled and did some good things. We were able to run the football a little bit, and in the second half, that sort of changed a little bit, and that's sort of why the outcome was what it was.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned A.J. Jackson. He was 17 of 24 for 150 yards and a touchdown, and also ran for 48 yards. And he is our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. And, you talked about your defense, and it's been pretty solid for you really all season, and really gave yourself a chance. Just didn't get it done late in the game Thursday night.
No, I mean, they found some things second half, and I didn't think our secondary played as good as they have in some other ball games, and credit to them again. They were able to. Their quarterback's a good player. Second half, they were able to find some of their big receivers and make some big plays. And I think that was the biggest difference in the ball game. We had a couple big plays, but they sort of made us drive the football there in the second half, and we gave them big chunk plays and chunk touchdowns, and that's not a good form on the road in our region. So we've got to find a way in the secondary to do better and to play better. And, I know we'll come back to work this week and rectify those things and make them better. And, I believe in our kids, and we still got a lot to play for. And, our team's had a lot of adversity this year. And, it's a group of kids that are resilient, that will battle. And, I still believe in this group a great deal.
Yeah, Coach, and you talked about that a little bit, but, I mean, everything's right out in front of you. You control your own destiny. You're 3-4 overall, 1-3 in region play, but everything is right there in front of you. Yeah,
I mean, we got 3 region games left, and obviously we're only worried about the next one. It's going to be a tough one. Blackman's a really good football team, and they've shown that, and we're going to have a great week of preparation for that game. But, there's a lot of scenarios that still put us in the playoffs, and we got to keep grinding and keep working towards that goal. And, I know our group will keep doing that, and they'll come to work ready. Towards the end of the week, we'll bring them in towards the end of the week and start back at it. So I know they'll be excited to get back at it after a break, and I look forward to seeing them again.
And, this week you obviously played on Thursday night and, shorter week. And does that kind of change your preparation a little bit? And I'm sure it probably gets you, a day off or whatever. What do you think about playing on Thursdays? And did that change anything you had going into the week?
I think the biggest thing it does is just it's hard on coaches as far as getting everything ready to go, because we practiced at 4 on Sunday evening and, practiced for about an hour and a half on Sunday to start the game week. And so really what it does, it just it makes the coaches have to speed everything up as far as preparation. And, we were in there Sunday, mid-morning, we were already meeting, and of course our coaches do a lot of work on Saturday too, grading the film and going in and starting to input stuff on the opponent scout film. So it just speeds everything up from that standpoint. But I mean, as far as the practice week, it was a normal week for us because Sunday just became our Monday, and so forth, and everything was just moved up a day. So I don't mind playing on Thursday. I think it just, like I said, it puts your coaches in a little bit more of a time crunch, and on the weekends we don't have a whole lot of time for family and all that stuff, anyways. And I think it sort of bites into that a little bit, but. I think it's it's a good change up for your kids, and then obviously it helps TWS to play because it helps them with officials and have enough officials for Friday night. So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just just the way it works, and now coming into your bye week, which happens to fall with fall break, how are y'all gonna try to attack that?
Yeah, we're gonna bring them in. We'll have 2 practices towards the end of the week, and just get their legs back, get them back in the weight room. We'll probably go out and just shorts and helmets and just work on fundamentals and, just work on our base offense, base defense against base looks and not really start preparing too hard for anybody. But, just basically getting them back in and getting their legs back and working on fundamentals, I think is the biggest thing for us. And, we'll have a lift or 2 in there to get their, get them back in the weight room. And I've treated it a lot of different ways. We've done it before. We practiced 3 days during that week, and we've done it where we didn't practice any. But I felt like last year, coming off the bye week, I didn't think we played very well. So we're going to bring them in a couple of days towards the end of the week.
Yeah, that's always a tough trying to figure out how to balance that. During their bye week, also their fall break week. Another part of your team, your kicker, Daniel Aldana, had a field goal and an extra point, and it's been pretty solid for you for this year.
Yeah, actually, he had 2 field goals, and he's a freshman that's a really good soccer player and just a great kid and a good addition to our football program. He's sometimes it's sort of a delicate balance when you get a soccer player to be your kicker because, obviously their number one thing is going to be that soccer, travel soccer. But I think Daniel's really, really bought into the football side of things, and I think he's just as committed to football as he is soccer. And it's a great young man we're excited about, and we look forward to having him for another 3 years after this. And I think he can become one of the better ones in the area, and just a good kid with a special leg. And I think as he grows and gets stronger through the weight room, I think he's really going to be a really good kicker.
Yeah, and it's always good to have 3 more years of a kicker. That's really something to look forward to down the road. Defensively, Dalen Sanders had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery for you on Thursday night. And talk a little bit about Dalen.
Yeah, Dalen's a special kid, special player. He's a leader. He's a kid that, when I watched him when he was at Rocky Fork Middle, you could tell just had a special knack for leadership. And he was the guy calling the guys up at halftime and talking to them. And, he's a special young man. And, he's a young man that, lost his father this past year. And he's sort of having to battle through that. Obviously, this is a difficult season for him from that standpoint, but just a special young man. It's fun to be around, has an infectious smile, just a really good personality. And he's one of those kids that, when you get up to go to work, you look forward to seeing him, and he brightens your day. And he's just a kid that's a team guy that's always bought in and going to be greatly prepared. And that's the thing about Dalen. He's going to prepare like a champion. And, it was good to see him have a good game the other night. I thought Jerry Martin did some good things as well and made some big plays, and he's always a factor as well.
Yeah, your defense has been really solid all season, and just going to get better as we get ready down the stretch here. Coach, what do you do talking to your team about possibility of this stretch run right here? You really control, like I said, your playoff chances, and how do you address that with your group?
Yeah, we talk about what we talked about the first year. I always talk about breaking the season down into 3 parts. You get the first 5, second 5, and of course you got the playoff 5. Right now in our second 5, we're 1-1, and you just got to try to finish the best you can that second 5, and obviously the next one's the most important one. And our kids are competitors, and they want to obviously not just get in the playoffs; they want to make a playoff run. And we've got a team that's learning to play. We got we're a very junior heavy team. Had a few that played as sophomores last year, but have a lot that are getting their first, Friday night experience this year. And I think it's, we knew coming back in this region, and I told everybody this, it was going to be sort of a growth year, and, a year where we sort of grow up, and that sort of turned out to be what has happened. And, we put ourselves on the 8 ball a little bit too. There were games early in the year we felt like that we're sort of kicking ourselves that we didn't win the football games. There was 2 in particular. We lost 2 games by 4 points. One of those was a region ball game. And, if you don't do those things, you're in a different position right now. So, we are what we are, and we've earned that. So we've got to battle out of that hole a little bit. And, I think we've got a good football team. I think we've just got to do some little things and learn how to put games away and how to be consistently competitive in the second half after playing a good first half and being more consistent in that. Little things like we didn't do a good job. I didn't think there was a amount of catching kicks, and that's something we've got to get better at. It's something we've stressed all year, and something we put a lot of work into. We start practice every day with people catching punts and kickoffs. So, our kids got to make sure they buy into that and doing the little technique things that make those things successful. So, our kids will come back, and our kids are competitive, and they'll look forward to a second half stretch run, and I know they'll be excited about it.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach, and good luck, and have a good little fall break, a little rest, and rest up, and get ready for your next game on October 17th against Blackman. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, I'll do it. Yeah, thank y'all for having me. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Coach. The Coach's Show is brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com.